prearranged funeral planning event today for the Lunch and Learn at Clary-Glenn Funeral Homes and Crematory. We're coming to you today from our Clary-Glenn Freeport Chapel Funeral Home, and we're hosting our free planning seminar. We do have a planning packet here, and in the planning packet there's some things that will be very helpful for you that we want to go over with you. On the right hand side there's some pamphlets that explains a little bit about who we are. We've been in business here over 90 years in Walton County, serving the community, and we're family owned and operated. And so it says a little bit about our stability as a company. We're celebrating 92 years being in business, so we're very thankful for that. So this form tells you a little bit about that, and so we're very thankful for that and very honored that families have placed their trust in us for over 92 years. We also have a second pamphlet that tells that we do have an on-site crematory here at Clary-Glenn Freeport Chapel Funeral Home, and so your loved one stays in our care whenever we complete cremations, and we're so honored for that service, and it gives families great comfort knowing that, and so we're very excited about that addition to our company as well. This pamphlet here tells you a little bit about our facilities, our large spacious chapels, large parking areas, and so we're very honored to have state-of-the-art facilities to offer our families. And so this pamphlet tells you a little bit about who we are and our facilities and what we provide for the families. So these are all in the free pre-planning packets, and those are available to anyone that would like to have one. Also in the packet, this tells about our funding company that we fund our pre-arrangements through, which is Global Atlantic. We'll be talking about that in just a few moments as well. Our pre-arrangement counselor, Harry Martin, will be coming to talk about Global Atlantic, our funding company. Also in the planning packets, we have different brochures and booklets. This first one tells about cremation. It answers all the questions regarding cremation. Any questions that you may have, it answers that for you. And you can also share that with other family members as well if they should have questions. So we're very thankful for that. So we're going to be talking about cremation today as well. And then also one of the other pamphlets we have is Social Security and Veterans Benefits. So we do a lot of veteran benefits for our veterans in our community, helping them file for their benefits, and we're going to have a little bit of information regarding that, and also Social Security benefits. So this brochure and booklet tells you about the veterans and Social Security benefits. So that's in your packet, and that's free for you to take home and enjoy. Also, we have in the packet funeral planning. That's a very important step to take, is planning for your funeral. And so this brochure tells you about funeral planning, making your pre-arrangements, planning for your funeral, getting all of your arrangements in order ahead of time, and tells you how to plan your funeral. So that's a very informative booklet, so that's available to you as well. One of the most important packets here in your handout is the free pre-planning guide. The free pre-planning guide tells you about how to make your own arrangements. You can go through and put down all of your wishes and all of your plans, how you would like your funeral to be handled, your family loved ones, information for your obituary, different planning items for your services, musical selections, clergy selections, pallbearers, your cemetery, cremation options. All of that can be written down in your pre-planning booklet and can be placed in a very important place in your home, and also a copy placed here in your file at the funeral home. Well, that helps you sit down around your kitchen table and write everything out in the comfort of your own home and bring that into the funeral home to pre-plan your services. So that's available to you. So that's very nice to have in your packet. So these are some of the things that we're going to be discussing today in the free pre-planning Lunch and Learn seminar. And so I want to introduce some of the folks that will be with us today. We have Harry Martin, that has over 30 years of experience in the insurance business, funeral pre-planning. Harry and I have been working together, goodness, almost 30 years now, in writing pre-arranged funeral plans here through our funeral home, and we're excited to have Harry and his experience on our team. We also have a new Preneed licensed agent, Miss Kathy. She's with us today, so we're very thankful to have her here with us also. And so we're glad to have our staff. And so it's going to be an honor. So we're going to turn it over to Harry now to tell us a little bit about pre-planning here.
Thank you, Joel. Good to see you here today. as Joel mentioned, I'm a licensed insurance agent, and I met Joel when he helped my brother plan his funeral when he died about 30 years ago. And 5 years later, I was contacted by the insurance company or the funeral establishment where he worked, and they were looking for insurance agents to market Preneed. And so what is Preneed? I guess that's really what I'm here to talk to you about today. And I want you to feel comfortable in knowing that if you decide to prepay your funeral with us, how safe that is to do for you, what it does for your family, the fact that it locks the price in at today's rates, and it guarantees that the funeral that you've chosen for yourself will be performed just exactly like you want it to be done. We look forward to the opportunity to meet with you either here at the funeral home. We own the chapel here at Freeport, Joel does, as well as the Funiac Springs. We serve the beaches area as far as North Walton. And I believe, I'm proud to say, I think he's the premier funeral establishment in Walton County. No one does the service that the Clary-Glenn operations do. We're proud to be a part of it. So the company I work for is Global Atlantic Financial Group, but the actual insurance company is called Forethought, which is a good name for a Preneed company. Forethought started in 1985, but the story began before then. The Hillenbrand Company in the early 1900s was a lumber company, and they bought in 1913 a failing casket company called Batesville. When I say Batesville, I think about the movie. What was it called? Where the guy stabbed the girl in the shower, the Bates Motel. You know, somehow it seems to match, but I think it's just irony. It was failing, and they found they could make metal caskets cheaper than wood caskets. They started doing that on a scale, a large scale. Like the Model Ts, what's that called? The assembly line. And then after World War II, really became a big business. So Hillenbrand Industries also made hospital beds. Could you please turn the music down? Sure. For us? Feels like I'm in a funeral. So in 1985, they created an insurance company with the idea of selling caskets on a Preneed basis to perpetuate their business. And when people tell me how hard their job is, their name is Pam, is that right? Pat. I tell them, well, you should try my job where I'm selling caskets to people who are still living. You know, it's not easy to do that. But it really took off. And basically, when it comes to the Preneed situation, there's two documents. One is the agreement between the consumer and the funeral home as to what you want to have done. It can include everything from the service, the embalming, the casket, the vault, cremation, what you want. And the other is a document between you and the insurance company where your monies they keep your monies. And it really became very large. And I want to tell you a little bit about the strength of Global Atlantic. So the Hillenbrand Industries, Forethought was created in 2013, and then it was bought by Global Atlantic. So I'm going to read you some statistics about Global Atlantic. The Global Atlantic Financial Group is a leading insurance company, meeting the retirement and life insurance needs of individuals and institutions with a strong financial foundation and risk investment management expertise. The company delivers tailored solutions to create more secure financial futures. The company's performance has been driven by its culture and core values focused on integrity, teamwork, and the importance of building long-term client relationships. Global Atlantic is a majority-owned subsidiary of KKR, a leading global investment firm. Through its relationship, the company leverages KKR's investment capabilities, scale, and access to capital markets to enhance the value it offers clients. KKR's parent company is KKR & Company on the New York Stock Exchange, the symbol KKR. Global Atlantic is in the top 5 in fixed annuity sales throughout the country, based on LIMRA data. Top 5 insurer of Index Universal Life, and the top 5 in Preneed life insurance providers. So this company works for many firms, many funeral homes throughout the country. Currently, the company has invested assets over $121 billion, and Forethought Life Insurance has statutory assets of $53.5 billion and $2.7 billion in surplus. So it's a very strong company to work with. So I've heard time and time when talking to families that we don't like talking about our own death, and that's normal. But I assure you that taking the important step is so worth it. When a family comes into our funeral home that's prearranged, I can see the relief of the family. Every time they are grateful they can focus on each other and go through the experience together and remembering their loved one instead of having to make countless decisions and figure out how to pay for the services as well. There was one gentleman who appeared very healthy and robust, probably about as big as I am, but he had a life-threatening disease that could take him out at any time. I think he had an inoperable aneurysm. And he and his wife came in with me to discuss their pre-arranged funerals. And he did live over a year. And that's what really solidified my belief in what I did. I attended the funeral service, and it was almost no real sadness, because they lived with the specter of him dying all the time. But no sadness because there were no decisions to be made at the time of death. None at all. Everything was taken care of. She was so pleased, and it was so different. I know the funeral directors are here today, and they can attest to the difference in a funeral that's been pre-planned and sometimes prepaid versus one that's put together on an at-need basis. Now, they're experts and professionals in providing the at-need attention that you need to all the details, but the difference in the emotional well-being of the families is tremendous, as well as it makes their job easier, but they don't have to take in all that grief and have to wade through all these problems that happen. Because sometimes death brings out the best in people, and sometimes the worst in people. Sometimes they have to be, I think Joel would say, like the referee between warring factions, or in cases sometimes it's a split families, that sort of thing. These things happen. I have a sheet of paper I want to pass out to you. And when Kathy and I were driving over this morning, we made a list. I'm going to pass this out to you. Let you keep that. Believe it or not, this is a list of 122 informational items that can pertain to a funeral, can pertain to a service today. It's broken down into 10 categories. And it's just amazing the things that they call their job as an undertaker. It's amazing the things they have to undertake, all of the different sheriff's offices to work up the what's that called, the escort?
Yeah, funeral escort.
The escorts, the graveyards, the people that dig the graves, the ushers, the logistics of the family, the cars, so many things. Sometimes families come from out of state, and many of these things, although they're in totality it's a lot, but individually they're minute, like the legal name, home address, how long in the state, social security numbers, veterans numbers. But this is hard you can draw a blank when you're dealing with someone who just passed that you love most important in their life. So it's easier to do this ahead of time than it is the time of need. So being prepared is really what Preneed's all about. Joel, did you want to pass out a gift?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a gift here from Caitlin Nichols here in Freeport, and it's a nice gift to take home with you. So we're going to give this gift out. That you have, that's a very nice gift, and so it's very nice to be able to call the funeral home, plan a time to come in, sit down, gather information, make decisions for planning your funeral or cremation, taking that burden away from your family and loved ones. And the greatest thing that happens when you make your prearranged funeral plans or prearranged cremation plans is it gives you peace of mind, it gives your family and loved ones peace of mind, so that as Harry was saying, all the decisions are made. And not only are all the decisions made, but also you can lock in the process financially to where the prices will not go up, and your money's funded in a secure funding group, which Harry explained through Global Atlantic, which is a very financially secure company that we've been partnered with over 35 years. And they do a wonderful job for us, so it can insure you while you're making your monthly premiums, or if you pay for it in full, all of your money's secure with them as well, and you receive a paid-up policy. So that's a wonderful opportunity that we have in making your arrangements. So we'll let Harry come back and tell us a little bit more about some of the other options that we offer.
Right, thank you, Joel. A lot of people ask about the portability of these pre-need contracts. So, number one, in the state of Florida, the funeral firm is not allowed to control any part of the money. That's why a third party, such as an insurance company or a trust bank, has to do that. You're in control of all these funds. As long as you use the funeral firm where you establish the agreement, they lock the pricing for you. But if you were to move out of an area, or if the funeral firm were to go out of business, the state of Florida guarantees that the money goes with you, wherever it is. And that means the money plus any interest that's made. Okay. The reason we can hold the price fixed is because the interest is payable to the funeral home at the time of death. Okay. Once a year, or every time we write a pre-need contract, we actually pay a tax, which goes to a fund that's called the Consumer Protection Trust Fund. And we pay a fee of several dollars for every contract, and that goes into a fund that's regulated by the Department of Financial Services, Division of Funeral and Cemetery Services in Tallahassee, where if there were a bad actor out there anywhere in the state of Florida that wrote a pre-need and ran off with your money, as long as you have your paperwork, the money will be there for you, okay? But in our situation, we actually supply you with a policy. You have a paid-up policy, and that's like any other life insurance policy. It just has a side agreement to take care of your financial needs. And we do offer payment plans for 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. Some people elect to pay a single premium payment once. With the multiple payment programs, there's insurance on it. So for example, if it were a $10,000 funeral and you make payments of $100 a month, whatever it might be, if you were to pass away, the balance is forgiven and paid by the insurance company. There's a cost for that. There's a cost of insurance. It's like credit life when you were to buy a car or something like this. So there's extra fees involved with that. So if a person that has the ability to pay in full, we also offer that option as a single premium. Do you have any particular questions you'd like to ask?
No, I've hadn't done my research before I came.
Okay. Well, that's good to do. And we like to do this as a kind of a public service. Since COVID, prior to COVID, we used to have a lot of folks come in. We're trying different methods of reaching people. We use Facebook for this particular seminar. We have used direct mail in the past as well. It's a good idea to do this. This is the emotional advantage of doing it. My father-in-law was a Scotsman. He's passed now, but he was very frugal. When he died, there were new shirts he had in his closet in the cellophane, and the plastic was just rotting and tattering. He never opened up the shirts. He would buy things. He prepaid his funeral. He spent $3,000 for a full funeral, and at the time of his death, it was worth $12,000, but nobody had to pay anything. He signed everything off, his house to his son, monies to my wife, his daughter. He found deals at the supermarkets for canned foods. And when he found a good deal, like you used to get 4 cans of vegetables for $1 sometimes, something like that. And he bought them and he put them in a separate room. All kinds, hundreds of cans of foods. And we were eating off that food that he bought 5 years after he died. But he was the type of person, he didn't want to be a burden on anybody. He wanted to take care of everything he could and take care of his family. And this is what I see this happening with a lot of families we serve in pre-need. And also I see once a family has done a pre-need, that oftentimes their children do the same thing. We call that a legacy. They see the value in it, and they also participate in it. But I just wanted to make everyone understand that it's very safe. No one's ever lost money in insurance. Insurance works on the legal reserve system. I know Kathy just finished her her license, so she studied about all this, so Kathy's new. But if the insurance company writes a policy for $100,000, legal reserve system says they have to have $100,000 set aside to pay that claim. And so no one has ever lost money in an insurance company. Some insurance companies go out of business, it's true. But again, the laws are in place that there's guaranteed funds in every state that guarantees the monies are there to pay all claims until another insurance company would buy the failing insurance company, and then they would honor the contract just as it was written before. So we also use a trust company, a FDIC insured trust company, for the same thing, to guarantee that the funds are there. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Any questions at all? Everything goes well with that. Let me see what I can go over here. Okay, what about Social Security benefits? So you're probably familiar if you already studied. Social Security pays out a one-time death benefit of $255 if there's a couple, man and wife, both, and on the death of the first spouse, they pay a $255 benefit, and that's all Social Security does. If a person was in the military, and Joel will know more about this, the government will provide a headstone oftentimes, and sometimes some extra cash, or even provide a burial space in the national cemetery for those veterans who passed away. So there are some extra benefits. Joel, I was explaining the Social Security benefits, and a little bit about the veterans benefits, and I'll turn it over to you.
Very good. As your funeral director and funeral home staff, something that we do at the time of the arrangement is we handle the Social Security benefits for your loved ones. We also handle the veterans benefits for all of our veterans that we serve. And with Social Security, in the packet we have a form that explains Social Security, the benefits they provide. We have that in the booklet that we handed out today, and tells you what Social Security will do for you. If there's a surviving spouse, whenever you pass away, they'll pay $255 to that surviving spouse. If there's dependent children over the age of 18, they pay benefits to each one of those surviving children that are under the age of 18, and there's some benefits that can happen there. So we assist you in filing that claim. We notify Social Security when we file the Florida death certificate through the electronic filing system. So there's a lot of things we do to initiate that claim and help you with those benefits. But the one-time death benefit is $255. We always get the question of, well, if there's no surviving spouse when I pass away, who gets the benefit? Well, unfortunately, there's no benefit if there's no surviving spouse and no dependent children. They will not pay anything, but we will notify Social Security, and we'll stop your Social Security benefits and your Medicare benefits as well. So we facilitate that for you. Also with the veterans, there's many different veteran benefits that are available for all of our veterans, and we certainly assist our veterans' families in filing for those benefits. If they're receiving a veteran's disability at the time of their death, then they're entitled to a death benefit of $455. If their death is military related, at the time of their death, they can get up to $2,000 that would be payable directly to their loved ones. So those are two important benefits that we file for our veterans. They're also entitled to a veteran's grave marker that we file for. They send it to our funeral home, we place it on the veteran's grave, and we communicate to the family that it's been placed. So it's a beautiful veterans marker that we can apply for. Also, they're entitled to a complimentary United States flag that would drape their casket, or we can fold it and give it to their loved one at the service, or the military would even come out and fold the flag, play taps, and present the flag to the family, the next of kin. So there's military honors, the veterans marker, veterans benefits, the complimentary United States flag. Also in our area, we have Barrancas National Cemetery, which veterans have as a benefit as well. For the veterans, they have a free burial plot, they have a free burial vault, a grave liner, digging in the grave, and a grave marker for themselves and their surviving spouse. So that's available at Barrancas National Cemetery in Pensacola. We facilitate that, and we take the loved one over there, and they can utilize those burial plots. Also, if you choose cremation, they have a free cremation niche where the cremation urn can be placed in the niche for the veteran and also for their surviving spouse. And so families find that very comforting. They also have a a nice plaque on the front of the niche where they have their name, date of birth, date of death, their military information, their spouse information will go on there, terms of endearment. So it's a beautiful cremation niche. You can also have a service there at Barrancas National Cemetery under their portico, which is absolutely beautiful. And they do have a chapel there where a service can be held. Oftentimes we would have a service here in one of our chapels here in Freeport or Funiac Springs, and then we would meet the family at the cemetery and go in procession on the base for a graveside service later in the day or the following day. So there's a lot of benefits there that's available to veterans, some wonderful benefits that we facilitate here through the funeral home. So we're very thankful for that. Any questions about any of those benefits? A lot of things that are available that we facilitate as a funeral home staff, and we're honored to do that. You guys have any questions?
I think you had a story about the caskets, about the poplar wood caskets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So also with the burial caskets, we have different types of caskets that we offer for burial. We have basic steel caskets. We have stainless steel caskets. We have precious metal caskets, which is copper and bronze. And so there's a lot of different selections in the steel category and precious metals. We also have wood caskets. The wood caskets that we offer, we have just about any type of species of wood that you would prefer. We have the hardwood, we have the softwood, and we have a family that we helped several years back, and they come in to make their pre-arrangements. And when he came in to make his pre-arrangements with his family, he selected a solid oak. This gentleman had been in the logging industry all of his life, had been in the wood industry, so he was very familiar with the wood, and he wanted a hardwood. He selected the oak. His family came back into the arrangement office. We sat down and began to complete all the paperwork. And he said, "Joel, I'd like you to make me a promise." I said, "Absolutely, Mr. Oak. What would you like me to do?" He said, "When I pass away, make sure that my family doesn't come in here and change that casket from an oak to a poplar, because if it gets wet, it'll warp and kick me out of the casket." Because he knew that soft wood was not a very strong wood as compared to the oak. So we have a lot of different options in the burial caskets. And with the steel caskets, we have some of the caskets that seal air and water tight, different interiors. You can put different cat panels with themes like farming scenes, loving mother and grandmother, dad, loving father, hunting theme, fishing theme, John Deere tractor, golfing themes. There's just a lot of different themes that we can put on the cat panels, and different corners that we can put on the caskets as well that would match the cat panel theme. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. As Harry said, hundreds of decisions that can be made. So we're honored to be a part of that.
It's all about memorializing a life, Joel. In
Yes.
fact, you told a story about the jewelry, the cremation jewelry, and how you were so careful, reticent about offering that to families.
Yes.
The cremation jewelry is where just a pinch of cremains go into a locket or some kind of jewelry that's worn. And I believe you had a story about a young lady.
Absolutely. Many years ago, when the cremation jewelry first started coming out, I kind of thought to myself, I don't think this is going to work very well in our area for people to have cremation jewelry to put cremated remains in and to wear. I thought that was a very different concept. I started introducing that when it came out probably about 20 years ago. And the first family that I presented it to, a young lady that was there, was looking at a selection guide and seeing that we offer cremation jewelry. And she just yet let out a scream of excitement. And I said, "What's wrong? What's the matter?" And she said, "Oh, you don't understand." She said, "Dad gets to walk with me down the aisle." She said, "I was hoping that he would make it. My wedding is in 3 months. And we were hoping that he would make it and he could walk me down the aisle. But he's going to be cremated, and now we can put some of his ashes in the cremation jewelry, and I can wear that, and he can walk with me down the aisle." And so what a great concept that was, and she was so excited. And from that moment on, the cremation jewelry has just taken off. People love it. It brings great comfort to children, spouses, and I see people in town that's wearing their cremation jewelry, and they come up to me and say, "Joel, I've got my cremation jewelry on. I've got Dad's ashes here. I've got my husband's ashes." And they love that concept. It brings such great comfort. So there's so many different containers in cremation and in burial. And I want to invite Joseph Kluwick to come up. He's one of our directors, and tell us a little bit about one of the cremation urns that we have on display here. So he can tell you a little bit about some of our urn containers. Joseph.
Hello, good morning. So as you can quite imagine, there is a very wide variety of different urns that we can offer the families, from very simple and very plain to very extravagant. A lot of people are surprised to learn that this is an urn. This is made out of solid cherry. There's a brass liner on the inside where the cremains are all contained. But it's a very nice display piece, along with most of the different urns that we offer are very beautiful, very nice, and very suitable for display. Most of them can be engraved, some of them cannot, based on the material that they're made out of. But again, it's just another way to pay tribute to that loved one in the life that they led. So when you come down, when you come and meet with us, if cremation is something that you would like, and that's what you're selecting, we will help you pick out a proper resting vessel for your loved one. Okay, did you have any questions about any urns? Okay.
Thank you, Joe. Yes, sir. When I started in this panhandle of Florida 25 years ago, I would say 95% of all the funerals were traditional burial funerals. And we've seen that change a lot. I think it was COVID-19 had a lot to do with it. And I was speaking to Joseph the other day, or someone was asking him at the seminar we had at the Funiac, what he thinks the reason for that is maybe families have just moved away. And it's not uncommon if you have 4 children, but they're in 4 different states nowadays. So it's kind of hard to get families together, the cost of expense, the travel, whatever the reasons are. I know Joel said that the percentage nationwide is about 65% cremation now. I'm not sure what it is right in our area right here, but we have to respond to that. I just want you to know that you can have a meaningful service even with cremation as a final situation with the body. You can have a viewing with a casket, a full service. It can be done very respectfully, very beautifully. And mainly we want the public to know that we're just regular folks like you are. It's not easy to walk into a funeral home. It's not easy to talk about death. I used to have a problem. I still have a problem going into a nursing home. My own mother passed in a nursing home with COVID, and we're not able to be with her because of that. Hospitals are not a good place for me to go to. So I understand the reticence about not wanting to come in, and especially not want to talk about your own demise. We are willing to meet with you. We're willing to meet with you at your home. If that's what you prefer, we're going to be putting together a package where we can go out and show pictures of the different things we offer. That's something I plan to do, so Kathy's coming to work with us. You're invited to come to our facilities, make an appointment. There'll be no pressure, there's no charge. You can purchase the whole funeral or parts of the funeral. We're very liberal on that. We'll work with you any way that you want us to work with you. Another thing that's, we do get calls from nursing homes from time to time for people who are in the nursing home or applying for Florida Medicaid to pay a nursing home bill, which does affect some of us. That nursing home bill on average is about $9,000 a month now. And many people spend their assets down to the place where they might be eligible for Medicaid. Medicaid, you have to have assets of less than $2,000 right now. So the reason we get calls from the nursing homes when people are applying for Medicaid, they're close to the $2,000. They spend a lot of their money, their life savings. They may not have enough money to even pay for their own funeral, but if they pay for the funeral before they've spent down all their money, we put that in an irrevocable trust, and that trust is a zero asset. It means that the monies cannot be refunded. It can't go to another family member who may want the money. The monies must be used for the intent purpose of the funeral of the person selected, and we guarantee that we'll do that for them. And so this actually is a tool to help a family, whether you're going into a nursing home or just want to prepare for the eventuality of maybe needing a nursing home, to prepay the funeral. And that way that asset is set aside. It's not going to keep you from getting Medicaid. Now, Kathy works for the Department of Children and Family. We have a discussion. She's too shy to come and talk, I think. Probably wouldn't be fair to bring her up here right now, but one of these days we'll do that probably. There are other things people can spend money on, which is like home repairs. You said that. Can you mention anything else offhand?
You can set up a savings account that is exclusively for burial purposes only.
What's the maximum?
$2,500. In addition to anything you prepay on your funeral as a secondary thing.
Okay, good to know. So we have a lot of resources and people with a lot of experience in different things. Joel grew up in the business, he didn't tell you, but his mother and his father, they worked with the funeral firm since he was a wee lad. And I met him when he first came out of embalming school, so Joel's real good with dealing with families, does a top-notch job, and I'm just proud to be affiliated with him. And I appreciate the opportunity for us to share what we do. We believe in what we do, we believe it helps people. We believe that memorializing a life is important, you know, and we believe in God, and we believe this is a respectful thing to do, and an honorable profession to be in. And we just welcome you to meet with us and talk with us sometime. Joel, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Gary. And once again, you can certainly reach out to us by calling Clary-Glenn Funeral Homes and Crematory at 850-892-2511 or 850-835-2511 for our Freeport location. And we'll be glad to schedule a time to meet with you, to come in and make a pre-arrangement. We'll sit down with you and spend some time to make all the decisions, get everything planned, and give you the peace of mind that you need. And we thank you for tuning in online, and we thank you for coming in person today to be a part of this free planning and lunch and learn. We do have refreshments provided. There's lots of food, so we're going to enjoy a meal together, and we're going to close with a word of prayer and ask God's blessings on our food and upon each one of us as we go our separate ways. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we humbly come before your throne of grace this morning. We thank you, Father, that your presence is mighty and powerful here with us today. We ask that you would bless the foods, the nourishments of our body, that you bless the hands that prepared it. Lord, bless all of those that are making decisions for planning ahead for their personal prearrangements. We ask your wisdom and guidance to be upon them as those decisions will be made, that in all of those decisions, that your name will be glorified and uplifted. We ask it in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. We do pray. Amen.
Amen.
This concludes our free pre-planning lunch and learn. Please come over and enjoy some refreshments. Thank you, and God bless.